Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we continue to discuss the Trading with a Bot Scalper, and I am seriously considering to rename that bot and call it Bitcoin Scalper. Now the reason is because it is trading only Bitcoin. And the strengths and the benefits of that strategy is that Bitcoin itself is much less volatile than altcoins, and it has a much greater perspective of a growth for a long term. So I know some altcoins can grow 100 or 1000% one day or 1 week, and then they can just drop to zero. I do not think this would happen to Bitcoin. So when I originally designed this scalper, I had traded this for myself on Inverse or CoinM, thus taking my profits in Bitcoin and growing my Bitcoin portfolio, growing the size of my Bitcoin holdings. Later, I had expanded the scalper to USDT margin contracts. So you can see there's various platforms and exchanges that I am supporting now with this strategy, and I will continue to expand other exchanges. Um, OKX is the next on my list, for example. So the first reminder to you is this is a Bitcoin only strategy. It's lesser of a risk, I think, because of a lesser volatility, and it's more scalable. You can put larger funds behind this trading bot. Next, I would like to speak about the strategy itself. So we have spent sufficient time discussing DCA and safety order settings. You can find these discussions and instructions in videos part 2 and part 3. And now I want to mention how the strategy works in terms of the price action. So this is not a trend following strategy. In other words, we are not opening a long round here when the strategy may feel that this is an uptrend and we want to follow that uptrend. Or similarly, if the price is going down, we want to chase that down movement. So it works in an opposite way. It's a contrarian strategy. And what we do is we buy when everyone is selling. So when the price is going down, we enter our long positions. And similarly, when the price is pumping high, we actually entering our short positions. There are pluses and minuses with this approach, and you need to be aware how the strategy works. Generally, the strategy should understand the large pumps and enter only when these pumps or dumps finish, right? So we don't want to enter around here. Ideally, we would want to enter around there. But of course, price action is never the same. And we may end up, for example, buying a long position here and price still continuing to drop. And our safety orders is what helping us to accumulate the position and exit when the price comes back. So as a reminder, that's not a trend following, but a contrarian strategy. And now I want to look at the results of the strategy and the pros and cons associated with that. Now let's look at the performance of the bots. So this is a subset of bots, which I think is representative to discuss the performance. As a reminder, I shared with you two templates, the wide setting and the mini setting. And of course, you can define your own DCA setting that you can use with the signal. So the mini setting is more narrowly packed and it actually requires higher capital. And if you look at the return on the investment, this is an estimated monthly ROI. It's 2.5% and 2.2% for the wide setting with the capital sufficient where you would trade with 1x leverage. Here I have mini, similar capital 1x requirement, and the ROI is higher, 4.1 and 5.3. Now, as a reminder, I'm running these bots on the same account. So you could choose either a wide setup or a mini setup, or even all of them, depends on how much budget you have. and run them in hedge mode so that your long and your short bots operate together. And because the long and the short bots operate together, I'm able actually to use the same budget for both of them without worrying about extending my risk. So when I'm using the same budget for this bot and this bot, I'm actually able to add their profits together and thus add their ROI together. So instead of saying that this strategy generates 2.5% for me, I can say that this strategy actually generates 5% of ROI per month. And that is if it was operating on 1x budget. The mini is more profitable, so mini is pushing close to 10% combined. And if I wanted to calculate my ROI with half of the budget or with a requirement as if I was trading with 2x, then the return on investment increases because my profits are still high, but my investment is smaller. So here the combined ROI may be anywhere from 15 to 20%. Okay, now the windows are open. So here you can see my wide long bot and its performance, and I have the wide short right here. And I also open the mini bots. Mini long is right here, and there's the mini short bot and its performance. So let's discuss a bit the performance of these bots. Well, one of the first things that you will immediately notice is these gaps in profit. So a lot of the times the market and the strategy work very well together. They are in sync. And this is when you see the profits being taken every day. But it may happen that the bot enters a position, be it long or short, and the price goes against it. Well, in this case, the bot will consume its safety orders and it will wait to exit. So it will be stuck. Again, the strategy aims to take multiple trades per day. So it's a scalper strategy. So these gaps in profit is not the times when there is no signal. The signal was in fact received, but the strategy was not effective. And this is when the long strategy is being complemented by the short strategy. So if I maybe open both of them at the same window and show you the performance side by side. So here you can see the long bot is being stuck from May 28. What about the short bot? May 25, 31st, 1st, 5th. So there were two trades that the short bot had made there. What I suppose had happened is the price was somewhat flat, but more on the bearish side. So when it was finally sliding sufficiently down, we took a few short trades, but otherwise this bot was stuck, and then finally it exited on June 6th, and also both of them were making profit from June 6th. So there was sufficient volatility on the Bitcoin price for both long and short positions to take trade. So we may see a situation where the bot would be stuck. And in this case, you can do only a few things. One of them is actually wait. I actually don't find it to be a problem if my long or short bot is stuck and I have this position because actually, well, like now, I have a negative unrealized profit. I have a long bot that's being stuck, but my short bot is making profits. It's making profit continuously because actually we had the price going down. The wide setting is a bit risk averse. It's wider, but it's also not as robust. So if you look at the mini setting, which is tighter packed, then we can see profits occurring more often. And again, if the trend is more evident, then we see profits being very, very consistent, and the actually deals are actually done very fast. 24 minutes, 5 hours, 3 hours. But to come back to the point I want to make is about these breaks, is that occasionally you will see that your strategy, your bot is not making profit, it is stuck. And the best thing what you can do in this scenario is to wait. Alternatively, you could try a few other things. Okay, so let's talk about the bots that are stuck. Well, so first thing you really need to do is check your safety orders. So in this case, it's 1 out of 3. So it means it still has 2 safety orders that it could take if the price goes against it. And when you take the safety orders, the price averages out, and it's actually easier for the bot to exit. But let's say this was 3 out of 3. Well, then I would really consider this bot to be stuck, especially if it stays on this 3 out of 3 for multiple days or maybe even a week. And in that case, you could, well, either you would continue waiting or you could stop this bot. You could go and click on the stop button. And when you do it this way, when you stop the bot, you are actually not impacting your position. Your deal stays exactly as it is. Only thing this stop button does is preventing the bot from opening new deals. So again, if you scroll down, you would see that this position and this deal stays exactly as it is. And in fact, it would exit at a given target profit, even if the bot is stopped. So the bot would continue, in fact, to operate in order to exit the position, but it would not take a new position. Of course, if your capital allows you, you could create another copy of the bot. So if this bot is stopped and it's stuck, it's not making profit, and you have capital on your account that you want to use, you could create a copy of this bot and it would run on the same pair and make profit. But don't forget to go to your user settings, as I was showing in my previous video, and enable beast mode. So for the bots that are stuck, there are quite a few things that you could do in case you really want to manage that proactively. You don't want to just wait. You could clearly kill the deal. You can close it with the market price and realize the profits, or you could cancel the bot holding the deal and manage it directly on the exchange, or you could use 3Commas help to manage your so-called red back. You could convert this deal from the My Deals, you could convert it into the Smart Trade, or you could convert that deal into Grid. There's a lot of things you could do. So I will not cover them now because it's time consuming. And also, I don't think there will be a high chance that your wide bots will be stuck for a longer time. Your mini bots can get stuck, and that becomes more relevant if you use mini settings because they're more narrow and they cover smaller range. So we had an over 3% drop, very sudden drop on Bitcoin this morning, and now I'm at 7.7 out of 9 safety orders on the mini. Again, I'm not too worried based on what I understand um, from the price action and the news that we have. But if this would get stuck, if it would be 9 out of 9, then I could manage this manually. There's one thing that I need to highlight to you, however. So these bots are running on the USDT margin futures trading. And there is additional risk or additional um, so there's something else that you need to think about if you're running on CoinM or inverse. So let me show that to you now. Okay, this is a bot that I started recently on CoinM. So I founded a Binance CoinM account with Bitcoin, and this bot is trading in Bitcoin. You can see that there's the base order size listed in Bitcoin, and whenever it takes profit, it's also in the Bitcoin. So the risk here is as follows. Since I funded this account and my balance is in the Bitcoin, the value of that balance fluctuates. If I were to put just 200 USDT in my account, then this 200 would be more or less stable. It would not change because USDT itself is a stable currency. But as I funded my account in Bitcoin, well, if the Bitcoin drops by 10% against US dollar, then suddenly the value of my account is 10% smaller. So this creates a risk for long bots. In case of a long bot, I would have an unrealized P&L here, a negative position, and suddenly my risk of liquidation would slightly increase because this negative position would be looked at against the current balance that I have, and that current balance would be considered smaller when Bitcoin itself is less valuable. Incidentally, if you had a short bot, that would act um, in an opposite way, because let's say you had a short bot and the price of the Bitcoin just pumped, it went up. Well, then the value of your account, which you funded with Bitcoin, would suddenly increase. So even though your short bot would have a negative P&L, it would be against that larger sized account. So be mindful that when you're trading on CoinM or inverse or a multi-asset or unified account and your main asset is Bitcoin, then the value of that account tends to fluctuate as the price of that asset fluctuates as well. So this may increase your liquidation risks. Okay, I think we covered quite a lot of materials already for today. There is more, but I'll leave it, I think, for the next episode. Just before we close, however, I want to show you one more setting and one more observation that can impact the performance of your bots. So as I mentioned to you, these settings that I've given to you, the mini, the white, this is something that I've tested and I'm using myself. However, I also mentioned that you're welcome to try and create your own setups and to experiment by using that particular scalper signal. There is one setting that I have done some testing on and I want to share with you. And this setting is about trailing target profit. So in 3Commas, you can enable trailing for your profits. Here, I have my default target profit to 0.3%, and you could trail that and you could put a value here, be it 0.2 or something of that sort, to try to catch a longer price movements and exit with the higher profit. So I've done some tests and I want to show that to you now. This trailing target profit bots that I've run now for months or 2 months, and they have various target profits and they have various trailing target profit settings. So I was looking at 0.15, 0.02, 0.05, and I kind of mix them with various target profit settings. So if I look at my results at 30 days or 7 days, what we can see that for these periods, let's look first at 7 days. The top performance were the bots with target profit 0.45 and 35, and the trailing was disabled. So if I open one of these bots and we look at them, you'll see that there is no trailing enabled on these bots. And that's the one that produced the highest profit. So this one, 0.45, and trailing is off. And if we look at something that we can actually compare, maybe this one with 0.35 with trailing disabled or equal to 0, and this 35 with trailing equal to 0.02, let's examine the total profitability. So I will open both of them now. So the first one, 0.35, and trailing is on, and it's equal to 0.02. Just like this, for those of you who are not familiar with this particular feature of 3Commas. So what's the total? Total profit is 1.01, and this bot, the trailing was off, and the total profit is 1.09. So again, these are small numbers. You can multiply it by 100 or 1,000, but you can see that exactly same target profit, in this case it was 0.35, but having the trailing on or off, 0.35 trailing is disabled, versus here 0.35 trailing is enabled. The bot that had the trailing disabled, this one, had made more money. So that's something I wanted to share with you to save you some time in case you do experimentation, or in case you're wondering about this particular feature. Having it disabled produces better results if you have it disabled. Okay, I'll leave this table here for a moment for you to study. This is the target profit, and this is the trailing value. And here I can sort this by 7 days for you. So that's all for today. Reminder, if you just encountered my channels and never used 3Commas, never used maybe safety order trading, well, you definitely should give it a try. If you haven't registered with 3Commas, they have a sale, and if you use my referral ID, you can get up to 50% off your yearly subscription, which is quite a good deal. And the link, of course, is right below in the description of the video. And if you have any questions or comments on how to use 3Commas, feel free to leave me a message right on the YouTube, or you can contact me. In the marketplace, there's quite a lot of links to my socials under my signal, which I have demonstrated today. So it's here, 366, and these are my socials. And of course, all my socials are also in the description of the YouTube video. So you can reach out to me, Discord, Telegram, Twitter, whatever you want. And if I'm around, if I'm online, I'll be happy to talk to you. With that, until next time, bye.